I'm just saying that, hindsight, it could have been just a sloppy game, and we'll see. But it is, look, they survived. There still are some, I mean, JJ, even though, he has some spotty decisions, he overthrew a couple guys, and he has to work on that touch for the deep shots down the field. But at the end of the day, he was 18 for 26, threw for 200 plus yards, 2 touchdowns. It says no picks. He probably should have had at least one pick. If the guy got his foot down, but you know what? That doesn't matter.
I'm not gonna to punish a guy for an almost. You know what I mean?
Only reason I bring it up is because it was across the field throw. It was across the field. So those are one of those decisions where he underthrew. Ronnie Bell was on the opposite side of the field, and he tried to get the ball there. And we all know that's typically a quarterback no-no. Trying to make throws across the field, it's tough to do. And you always run that risk of guys undercutting the ball for an interception. And that was an inch away from happening today. So those are the things. It didn't hurt him, but it could, right? So,
Dre, Mr. Jones says, even the bad in this game is good. You guys are just pessimistic.
Who? So, hold on. So, Mr. Jones, even the bad in this game is good. Y'all just pessimistic.
To me, so here's one of the bad.
What we said? Hold on. Has Mr. Jones? Have you heard what we said? I'm saying I preface all my statements by saying they survived today. I think at the end, I actually think this was good for them, like to struggle, which is I think what you're trying to say. So we're not just complaining about them. We're saying, hey, these are the things that didn't go well. They survived, but if they want to repeat what they did last year, they better clean it up. That's all we're saying.
Here's what I'll say. Some of the bad is JJ, whether you want to say extending the play or holding the ball too long and taking shots. He took, I would say, probably 3 big shots in this game. One of them, he kind of got submarined a little bit. They didn't really focus on it was a flag was thrown, and I thought it was going to be for roughing the passer. They ended up picking up the flag. The fumble, he got hit he got hit flush, like helmet to helmet. If you want to argue it should have been a penalty, we can argue about that. But nonetheless, and then there was another one where he just kind of he is trying to get the home run, and I understand it 100%. You want to hit those big plays.
It wasn't like they weren't open. They were always like the 2 times he overshot Roman. Roman had a step.
But I'm not talking about those though. I'm not talking about those plays. You know what I mean? Like I'm talking about the ones where there's a balance at the end of the day. You know what I mean? There's a balance to where to me, the 20% chance of me maybe hitting the home run in the deep ball if I can extend it, or the 60% chance of me just checking it down to Blake Corum or CJ Stokes in the future Donovan Edwards, and those guys getting 5 or 6 yards. Like I think what the QB coach and the OC need to do is just encourage JJ of that's not a negative play. You know what I mean? Like hitting a check down, because the running backs that Michigan has in their running back room are dynamic. So hitting Blake Corum for a 1-yard check down, Dre, you never know what that might end up being. That could easily be 15-yard gain, 20-yard gain, 40-yard gain. Like you know what I mean? Like him and Donovan Edwards are that dynamic where those guys can do that. So I think for JJ, because he's not a huge kid, like I think he's pretty tall, but he's not overly, you know what I mean? Like he's not a guy physically. I look at like DJ Uiagalelei. He's not that, 6'5", 230, 240. So he's just got to be careful and cautious of the hits that he takes. Now, if this is last week of the season and you're playing Ohio State and you need every single point, put it all out on the line. That's something totally different. But we've got a big chunk of games coming up where the living to play another down is a win. You know what I mean? Because we talked about it when you called me at halftime. The last thing you want is, for example, that the the fumble that happened, when he gets hit flush, kind of helmet to helmet, face mask to face mask, for him to get into concussion protocol and him sit for 2 weeks. Like that's not a mild ankle sprain where you just know, like, okay, well, he'll be fine, he'll get some rest, ice, all that, tape it up, he'll be good to go. Like, you never know how that's gonna end up. That could be 3 weeks, right? So and I'm looking at worst case scenario, absolutely, but that's reality, right? Like, we see it all the time where it happens, right? So that's my thing.
We've seen 2 Michigan quarterbacks get pinned in 2 at Wisconsin. So I mean, like we've seen it. Yeah. So it's like off one hit, like you said, there's one hit. So look, it's critical that he learns and figures it out, because, and I just don't want to be one of those situations that the way he learns is that the hard way, which is by actually getting hit hard and getting hurt. I hope it doesn't take that. For himself and for Michigan, but yeah, I mean, especially going to Iowa, we can joke about Iowa all we want to, but they always have a very solid defense. They're very physical, and you don't want to be messing around and
we're not like doing that.
Yeah, I'm not.
We're not Iowa in this right now. We're not doing that.
I know. Okay. I'm just making. I'm making a point. Okay, I'm making a point in terms of just being smart.